Hey, I'm Alicia from mobilitymastery.com, and today we're going to talk about frozen shoulders and a really common pattern that I have seen that might really surprise you. So if you're landing on this video, then I'm assuming either you're a super nerd and you want to watch every video I make, or you're currently suffering with a frozen shoulder, or maybe someone you know is, or maybe it was you at one time and you never fully understood it. So this video is for you. And before we dive in, I just want to say this is a working theory. I love sharing my working theories with you guys because I want it to be like a citizen science project between all of us, not just me and my clients, and it never goes beyond the walls of this office, right? And this has kind of been a working theory of mine for years now. And anytime I get like a little hit, like, oh, this is a pattern that I see with this person, this person, this person, oh my God, like maybe this is like a thing, then the next person that walks in my office with a frozen shoulder or whatever it is, I ask them, hey, is this you? And I get corroboration. So anytime I get a lot of feedback that I'm on the right track, then I say, okay, this is a really viable theory. And then I really ask everybody. I ask people in my Facebook group, I ask you guys on YouTube, in the comments if you're commenting and telling me you have a frozen shoulder, and I keep getting the feedback that this feels true to people. So this theory that I have that might surprise you is that frozen shoulders have to do with unprocessed grief. Some kind of emotional, maybe sadness or grief, like I said. And of course, grief can arise from numerous reasons. Anything from a death, someone dying that was close to you, to maybe grieving a marriage or grieving the loss of some part of your life or even a career, perhaps, right? Like grief it's not like it only shows up in one place in our lives. And the other really, really interesting thing to me about frozen shoulders is, first of all, in Western medicine, it's kind of considered idiopathic, meaning they don't know the cause. It just locks down, right? Your shoulder gets basically locked into an immobile, frozen, right, like mobility pattern of usually like close to the body, and then you can't move it from there. And most of the time, like I would say probably 80%, if I had to guess, and I am having to guess, but 80% of my frozen shoulder clients experience it on the left side, which is what? Close to the heart. I just find this fascinating. And then the people who have it show up on the right side often tell me, well, it first happened on my left, and then I went to the chiropractor and I went to the physical therapist and finally kind of got it like mostly okay, and now it's on my right. I hear that quite a bit. So the 20% of people who have it on their right, of those I'd say, I don't know, again, I'm kind of guessing, but like 10 to 15% of that 20% total are going to tell me a story of having it first on the left. So what's going on here, right? I mean, your heart is an organ in your body, and we also relate it to emotions, which I find kind of interesting in and of itself, of course. But even as an organ, right, it's your body's going to want to protect it physically if it's in danger. And so if you're experiencing a really strong surge of emotion like grief, but you aren't allowing it to move all the way through you and out, right? It kind of gets stuck. I think the number one place it will get stuck in a protection mode or lock you down is, for whatever reason, in the shoulder area around the heart. And I don't know about you, but when I've felt like I had my best friend die when I was 17, and I've experienced plenty of other griefs in my life, and when I look back on that time, I mean, I definitely had like a squeezing of my heart, right? Like it's just like you feel an ache there, you feel a squeezing there, you feel something in the heart region around grief or loss or really intense sadness. So For whatever reason, there seems to be a physiological correlation between the heart area and this particular set of emotions around sadness and grief. So there you have it. That's my working theory. And so what the heck do you do about it? Maybe you're wondering. You know, I think everybody's a little individual, and so I'll tell you there are probably two main camps that people arrive in my office for, you know, if frozen shoulder is the thing they're working on. Some of them, like, I tell them my working theory, and I say, you know, like, I'm not saying I think it's you. This is just my working theory, and I'm curious if you know, if it's resonating for you. A lot of them say yes. So some people then tell me yes, and I like, that feels right, and I've been working on it. So I've been working on healing myself for a while, but I feel like it's just stuck physically now. So you might be in the camp of, like, maybe you recognize the emotional component and you've actually been working on that consciously, but your physical body is still kind of stuck in that pattern. That can definitely happen. But you might be in the other category of, like, maybe you're kind of aware of it, or maybe you're completely not aware of it, and maybe everything I'm saying right now is sparking an aha for you, and you have the work to do on the physical level as well as the emotional level. Regardless, what I would actually suggest you do if you're in either camp is, instead of trying to fix your shoulder, I would use some fascia release around the shoulder area, whatever ones you can get into position-wise, and instead of working to release your fascia on a physical level, contact your nervous system and find out what it feels like, both emotionally perhaps, or on that sensation level, to contact yourself in the area around your heart and the shoulder. So it could be your forearms, it could be your biceps, it could be your lats, but that's a really hard one to get it into if you have frozen shoulder, with the techniques I have for self-help. So if you can do the lat one, great, try it, but that might feel a little difficult. Maybe it's in the rear deltoid. Chest, great one. Pec, deltoid, chest, all of these you can get into a little bit, even if you have to modify the techniques I have on this website to just put yourself in a position where you can place the tool on yourself, because your goal isn't to release the fascia here. Your goal is to contact your fascial and nervous systems together at the same time and just discover what you feel, and just allow whatever you feel to be. So whether you feel physical sensation or any emotions arising, your goal is simply to get curious about your sensory experience in that area on a fascial level and a nervous system level. So that's really it. And I know, like, I don't want to totally leave you hanging as far as, like, a fix for the frozen shoulder. I just want to say you might need help with this, because frozen shoulders don't just go away like that usually, and they can be somewhat complicated to problem solve on your own. They can be somewhat complicated to problem solve in my office or with any professional, even when they really know what they're doing. Because again, there's that physical component and then the nervous system emotion component. But really what it boils down to is about feeling safe to let go and feel what you feel, feeling like your body doesn't need to protect you or your heart anymore. So whatever you have to do to work on that is probably going to get you the result. And it could be physical, could be emotional, or could be both. So there you have it. That's my working theory on frozen shoulders. I'd love for you to share your takeaway below and tell me if this resonates with you or not. And yeah, maybe we can all just open up this conversation to learn from each other about this frozen shoulder experience, so that more people can get access to the working theories that we're all using to, you know, heal from whatever is the root cause. So I've never experienced frozen shoulder myself, so I can't speak from experience. So that's why I'm asking you guys to share, and I'd love to, you know, get into the comments and talk to you about it, but also encourage you guys to talk to each other. So if you're landing on this video and you have frozen shoulder, start talking to other people who are commenting, get some support around this, maybe some accountability, and yeah, just go from there. Try what I suggested and go from there. So I'm going to wish you a lot of luck with that frozen shoulder. And again, maybe you need to reach out and get help from somebody. But you can start on your own and investigate, like I said, with the action step I gave you. If you are brand new to this channel, Make sure to hit the subscribe button. I've got new videos that go out every single week, and we've got a link below this video in the description for you to join my email community, where I do free email trainings I don't do anywhere else occasionally, and I also have some free resources for you. So depending on when you land on this video, I might have some PDF guides for you, a free kinetics demo where you can learn a partner technique, and maybe more than that as well. So click that link below, join my email community, come hang out with me, talk to me every week, and I'll see you next time.